For many months, a reporter from The Atlantic by the name of Elaine Godfrey had been attempting to get in touch with Matt Gaetz to schedule a sit-down interview with his office because The Atlantic was going to do a profile of Matt Gaetz. I mean, this started back in November, and Matt Gaetz at the time, had just successfully replaced Kevin McCarthy with Mike Johnson. He was the Republican of the year. He was the most vocal out there. So The Atlantic said, you know what? Let's do a profile of the guy. Let's get to know who he really is. It was not a hit piece. It was just, let's talk to him. Let's find his motivations, find what he's passionate about, maybe talk a little bit about his personal life. Who knows? But a nice, friendly profile piece. And I preface this story by telling you that, by then telling you that after repeated attempts to try to schedule the sit-down interview with Matt Gaetz and being unsuccessful with his office, Elaine Godfrey decided, okay, you know what? If he's not going to sit down with me, I'm going to go to the Capitol, where reporters are allowed to go, and I'm just going to catch up with him in the hallway and maybe get a couple answers to my questions for this piece. And she found him. And when she went up and introduced herself, Matt Gaetz, the man who calls himself the Firebrand, turned around and literally ran away from her. He ran away like a little coward, terrified at the sight of this female reporter. Here's what she wrote. Usually, you need about 10 minutes to walk from the Rayburn House Office building to the House Chamber. But if you're running from a reporter, it'll only take you 5. I just wanted to introduce myself, she said. She yelled after him. But there the Firebrand was that day in November, running away from me in his white-soled Cole Haans. Gaetz is a creature of our time, she wrote, versed in the art of performance politics and eager to blow up anything to get a little something. He has emerged as the heir of Trumpism. Gaetz broke into a light jog down the escalator, then flew through the long tunnel linking the Rayburn offices to the House Chamber. Finally, I caught up with him at the members-only elevator, my heart pounding. I stretched out my hand. He left it hanging. We got on the elevator together, but he still wouldn't look at me. And finally, she just looked at him and said, quote, "Are you afraid of me?" And that's that. This little reporter who's trying to actually do a nice piece about Matt Gaetz, maybe a little image rehabilitation, because The Atlantic sometimes, they can, be a little too soft on things. But he wouldn't even talk to them. He ran away from her. And she caught up with him, which is honestly the funnier part. But here's the thing. Matt Gaetz, this is not the first time he's run away from reporters, but Matt Gaetz loves attention. He loves to be on camera. He loves to be interviewed, but only when it's on his terms. Only when he can control the setting, the situation, the questions, and whatever it is. He loves to go back and do his little Firebrand podcast, and I can yell and rant and rave about all these things and make stuff up and say whatever horrible thing I want because there's nobody on the other side to refute it. There's nobody to ask me the tough questions or to call me out on my BS. So when he's put in a situation where he thinks that may happen, like a reporter catching up to him in the hallway, he runs away because he's not a firebrand at all. He's nothing more than a spineless coward.